Okay, couple minutes early here, but not sure if anybody's on watching yet, but just wanted to try to do a live stream for Married at First Sight. We haven't really been doing these this season, but I thought it might be fun to discuss the episode and then maybe switch up and do some more focused videos during the week, really just depending on what everybody is interested in talking about from this week's episode. As always, I'll run through all of the couples just like I normally do. And yeah, you know, pretty interesting episode overall. Had our 1 month anniversaries, which is a pretty big milestone for the couples. You know, for them, it's the halfway point in terms of the season. I believe we're just past the halfway point. They did the midway recap last week. I did not watch that. Don't know if anybody else did. You know, really, what has happened that we need to recap on in the middle of the season? I just don't really know. Our couples, wow, has my opinion on all of them changed this season. You know, as we're watching tonight, I was kind of thinking about, you know, how I viewed couples at the start, like immediately, like loved Zach and Michaela. Now halfway through the season, I'm totally turned off by them. Jose and Rachel, you know, hated them at the start of really hated Jose at the start of the season, and they really started to grow on me, and then had that terrible fight, and now I'm totally off on them again. Mirla and Gil was not on board with them at the start of the season, and they have just grown and grown and grown. And now I was thinking tonight, like, is Mirla and Gil our best couple? Like, how wild is that? Like, I would have never expected that. You know, everything we saw from Mirla before the couples got married just made me think, like, nope, no way, that is not working, not happening. And yet there they are, probably our strongest couple after 11 episodes. Johnny and Bao, I was very high on them at the start, and now I just don't see a way through for them to get to the end, which I really didn't see. I thought that they would do everything in their power to make it work, but apparently not. And who'd I miss? Brett and Ryan. You know, part of me still believes that they are going to make it, but we're getting so much negativity from them right now. It's hard to have much faith in that. All right, so we're now getting to the time when I said I would start the stream. So let's jump into everything tonight. As always, a rundown of each couple. We'll go through couples one by one. Probably go through the more exciting couples here off the top. I want to talk about Rachel and Jose. You know, they had a terrible fight. They had a absolutely horrific fight, and now they're supposed to try to move forward. Sorry, I just got an error on my stream that something's wrong with it, but I have no way of telling what is actually wrong. So anyways, Rachel and Jose, you know, I don't know how they recover from that fight. I really didn't like the producers basically pushing Rachel back in, and somehow this couple seems like they have patched things up, and I just can't wrap my head around that, because I just don't see how you put that behind you. Like, how do you, like, those words were exchanged, those actions were exchanged, they have to weigh on you for the rest of your relationship. How can they not? Like, Jose was awful. He was awful during the fight, after the fight, you know, even going to the guys, and then all of a sudden he's had this this moment of truth, this wake-up call where now he realizes after being repeatedly told he was wrong that he's actually wrong. And I just don't buy it. Like I was not expecting just like them to just make up tonight. You know, and we came down to Jose at the start of the episode trying to apologize, and like he still at that point just didn't get it. Like it's not like, hey, he slept on it and he reflected on everything that was said and then now is cool to move forward. Like he couldn't string together a meaningful apology, and Rachel was basically begging him for it, like just begging for a sincere apology, and could not get it. The words would not come out of his mouth. You know, finally, after begging and begging and begging, Rachel finally gets that apology, and they just like sweep everything under the rug and are all of a sudden just like, yep, we're good to go now. Relationship fixed. And I just sat there with my jaw on the ground. And you know, they did teach me one valuable lesson, and that is the next time my wife and I have a fight, I'm just gonna ask if she wants to go play catch, because apparently if you just go and play catch after having a marriage-ending argument, it's fine. It's fine. You just throw that ball back and forth for a little while. All those feelings are just magically healed. All the damage is erased. I just can't wrap my head around it. You know, Jose's strongest relationship this season is with Johnny. It's not with Rachel. You know, that's the relationship that he's going to take away from this. It's Jose and Johnny, not Jose and Rachel. All right, let's jump over, you know, let's jump straight over to Johnny. You know, he was the other very prominent couple, I felt, this episode, which kind of surprised me since Johnny and Bao didn't show up on this episode until about the halfway point. You know, we hadn't seen them at all. We checked in with all the other couples, and all of a sudden Johnny and Bao are getting on an airplane to go skydiving, and it's like, what? Like, how's that where you start off for the couple? You know, they weren't in the best space to begin with, and we're just ignoring all that and just straight up jumping out of the plane. After that, you know, Johnny and Bao kind of sat down for a meal, and I was getting real confused on Johnny's sex talk. You know, he's saying all he was really just saying all the things he wanted, then all the things he didn't want. But the way he was throwing everything out, like, it wasn't clear which side was the good and which side was the bad. And that doesn't just limit to that sex conversation. You know, it goes way back to the start when, you know, Johnny wanted someone to replace his body pillow. Johnny wanted somebody to smack his ass. Like, it seemed like he wanted the affection, wanted the cuddles. And then when Bao tries to do those things, it's not good enough for him. And it makes me question Johnny's, just his whole thought process, really. You know, something is holding him back. He keeps continually looking for issues. He keeps looking for the negative. He just doesn't really want to look at the positive. Before, we were talking about how really everything he was doing was for him to try and get laid, for him to try to get Bao to sleep with him, and that's just not healthy behavior in a relationship. It just isn't. Like, you know, you're not just there for sex. Like, you want to have somebody that you have a solid relationship with, like someone that you've connected with on a very deep level, not just you know, somebody you call in the middle of the night to you go to their place, they come to yours, and you have some fun times together and then move on with your life. That's not what this is supposed to be. And I don't think Johnny gets that. Uh, Bao, you know, she really piles the blame on herself. And a lot of it is either over very small things or things that were Johnny's fault. And I really don't like seeing that. Like, I know that's who Bao is. That is just something she struggles with. And I think in those moments, a lot of the time, like really, she's looking for some positive affirmations, which Johnny just isn't giving. And whew, it was the second half of this episode was rough to watch for Johnny and Bao. Like, you could almost see Johnny imploding as Bao was talking in front of the group about their relationship and everything she was putting in. And, you know, from what we've seen, some of what Bao said wasn't true, which seemed really out of character for her to me. You know, yes, she wants people to like her. She wants people to see her in a positive light. But I don't think that we have seen her really as anyone who's manipulative or a liar this season. So, you know, to be sitting there and to lie seemed a little strange, especially when it was very clear that Johnny's just sitting there beside Bao, absolutely imploding. One thing I really caught out of that moment, though, was there was a couple things at that meal which were Johnny being childish, you know, sitting, you know, doing that little gag with oh, I got you a flower. Like, that's like a little kid's trick to like pick a flower from your garden and give it to you and be like, hey, I got you this flower. So, you know, another example of not okay for Bao to act childish, but totally fine for Johnny to act childish. And then while they're having that discussion, Johnny's just sitting there furious, ripping apart rose petals. Like, he's having a little kid's temper tantrum. Once again, Johnny being childish, and it's fine, but if Bao did the same thing, would not be okay. You know, I'm just so negative on this relationship, and really the majority of my negativity is focused squarely on Johnny, who is just not... He just doesn't seem like the person that we saw at the start of the season. Like, once he was in that couple, it was really felt like, whoa, where did this guy come from? And I wonder if the experts feel the same way, that Johnny isn't the person that they tried to match with Bao. All right, enough for them. Let's jump over to another impending disaster, and that is Zach and Michaela. You know, I said at the start of the stream, they were a couple I was so high on, like, for the first episode, and they have just crashed ever since. A very, very hard couple to watch, and part of the reason they're hard to watch is you're waiting for the next blow up, you're waiting for the next disaster, and just it's hard to watch. Like, when we went to that salsa dancing, and, you know, maybe salsa dancing is actually just a trigger for people. Like, last year, didn't Vincent and Brianna go salsa dancing, and it turned into like a huge temper tantrum for Vincent? And this year they go salsa dancing and it turns into a little pout fest for Michaela. You know, as soon as the instructor like opened that door for her to back out of things, she was gone. Like, she just absolutely ejected. She was just like, hey, see you later. Like, I'm done. And I, like, Gil always stirs the pot, and like, a lot of the time I don't really like it because he's trying to get under people's skin. He's trying to get a reaction. You know, he's always doing it with Mirla. And, you know, one thing that makes their relationship work is that she doesn't bite on that, but other people do. And, you know, there he is. He's stirring the pot for Michaela. He's pushing Michaela's buttons, and I kind of enjoyed watching it because, you know, really, to me, we got to see a little bit more of the real Michaela. And I think that real Michaela lies somewhere in between the blow-ups and the fake happy bubbly Michaela that we kind of saw at the end of tonight's episode. I think she probably lands somewhere in between, and you know, that was a moment that I think that we saw who she really is, and you know, not as bad as the explosions, but still not a pleasant person to be in a relationship with. Like Zach kind of, after the salsa dancing, did a magic reset. Like he just magically had this epiphany, I guess, which we later found out was Michaela basically just saying like, hey, I want happy Zach back. I don't want to know like what you're actually thinking, what you're actually feeling. I just want you to be in this relationship, being happy and accommodating me. This couple has just turned terrible. There's no way they can stay together at the end of this, right? Like absolutely no way Zach and Michaela can stay together. And you know, we're hearing Michaela say things like, hey, I will do anything for this relationship. I'll do anything to make this relationship work except salsa dancing. Like apparently that is the line in the sand. Like yeah, she's willing to do anything, but attempt 5 seconds of salsa dancing? Absolutely not. No possible way. And then another conversation they had, they both said that they wouldn't change anything in their relationship. What? That makes no sense. That is absolutely absurd. Like, you look back on just the footage that we have so far, like, we don't know what happened behind closed doors. We don't know what conversations happened when they were in private. And yes, if I was one of those people, I would want those moments back. Michaela smashing that Clorox wipe bottle that we've seen repeatedly, I would want that moment back. You know, that whole scenario with Zach leaving, like, I'm sure he wants that moment back to just be like, hey, I'm leaving, taking my dog to doggy daycare. Like, he wants that back. You can't sit there and say like, nope, wouldn't change anything. This relationship is just perfect and is going exactly as planned. No. If your plan was to end in divorce, then yes, this relationship is going exactly as planned. And you know, I don't buy them hitting the reset button for a moment. Like they tried to put on that happy couple that we saw at the start of the season. At the end, like when they're sitting there at the dinner, they're kind of showing off for everybody. They're putting on their best face for all the other couples to see. But I'm not buying it, because we've seen under the hood. We've seen what has happened between them. And yeah, like Danelle's saying here, a magical reset after the salsa. Like, Gil did give them good advice, but really he's just stirring the pot, like I said, and they're possibly turning into my favorite couple all of a sudden. We might as well just jump over directly to Mirla and Gil, since we're already talking about them with Zach and Michaela. Like, wow, have they just built this season? They have, every episode, they have just stacked on to their relationship, and all of a sudden they are easily the #1 relationship on this season. And I don't think anyone was out there that said, there was very few people that even said that they were going to make it at the start of the season, let alone had them as their favorite couple, like most likely to stay married at the end of this. And all of a sudden, you know, I'm looking at our couples, and from what we've seen, what we're seeing right now, they are the best couple. You know, they just work. Like, you think that their two personalities just would not mesh, but somehow they do, because Gil, he likes pushing buttons, he likes stirring the pot, you know, he likes just bringing up a little bit of controversy, and Mirla just doesn't bite. You know, she doesn't like him calling her princess and making jabs about the shoes and the purses. You know, she just rolls with it, and I think that is what is making them work. And they've had this slow build. You know, we're finally halfway through the 8-week experiment, and they're just having their first kisses now. They're just starting that physical affection, and I did not expect it. I did not expect to be praising Mirla and Gil at any point this season. Like, I thought they were just 0% chance that they were going to work, but yet here we are. You know, they're having them falling in love feelings. You know, even like, what did they get called out on at the group dinner? Ryan calls out Gil for already being in love. Like, what a thing to get called out for. Like, no, hey, like, not anything else. Like, not lying to the group, not putting on a fake face. No, you get called out because you're doing too good in your relationship. Never saw it coming. You know, I thought they were very thoughtful for their and sweet for their 1 month. I like that Gil is willing to, you know, take that step into her world, because those are like, to go and do a little picnic, to have that moment. It is what Mirla wants. It's those moments that she wants in that relationship, that she wants in her life in general. And I'm very happy to see that Gil is, for lack of a better word, compromising on that front and taking that step into Mirla's world. And I think that is something that is really going to work well for them. Yeah, I agree. Mirla was poorly edited, because like, you think of what we saw of her before they got married, like, it was just negative. You know, she was portrayed in a very similar way to how Jose was pre-marriage. Like, before we saw the couples, like, it was just negative. You know, how she's all high maintenance and she doesn't really care about anything except her shoes and purses. And that's really not the person that we've seen. Like, yeah, she likes those things, but you know, she seems like she's a very thoughtful, loving person who is really committed to this. I forget exactly what her line was at the dinner, but she said something along the lines of, "I made the decision to love my husband." That's not her saying I'm in love with him, but I made that decision to love him, like to love that relationship, and it's working. Yeah, Gil is absolutely listening and stepping up to the plate. All right, final couple. You'll be shocked. Everyone is going to be blown away by who we saved for our last couple this week. And I kind of feel bad, because this was absolutely one of the most interesting weeks for Brett and Ryan, but really not for their relationship, more for what Brett was going through, having to put her dog down. You know, everyone, well, not everyone, most people have had a pet in their life that meant the world to them, and losing that pet is devastating. You know, it does have that same weight as losing a person that you care about. You know, they're not equivalent things, but those emotions come from the same place, and they're hard to deal with. And you think Brett is in the middle of an 8-week social experiment, and she has to find a way to grieve within that space. And I really appreciate that not only was Ryan very supportive, but all 4 of the other couples were supportive to Brett as well. And that just shows, you know, how close this group has gotten in the 1 month they've known each other. And it also gives that glimmer of hope that Ryan does care about Brett, and wants her, you know, just wants her to be happy. It's very good to see. And, you know, I don't think that we've really been seeing that up to now. I don't think that we've seen Ryan really buying into the relationship. You know, even that little scavenger hunt at the start, it felt so genuine to me. You know, it felt like he was actually committing into the relationship, and I just don't know that we've seen that. It was cute, and you know, maybe there's hope. Ryan actually cares for Brett, even if it's not in that Hollywood TV show love, but he's there and he cares. The dinner, there was one moment at the dinner where Brett was essentially saying to everyone, hey, my feelings are out there, my heart is open, and nothing is being reciprocated. And like, for Ryan, that's got to be hard to just sit there and have that out there for everybody. What is up, Jennifer? Always appreciate your comments, so thanks for stopping by our live. Yeah, losing that pet, it can be hurtful, and you know, how do you manage this relationship? So like, if you think outside of this show that happens, she loses her dog, 1 month anniversary, no, plans are canceled right now. But within this show, knowing that you have that time frame, you have that limitation on your relationship, that 8 weeks, you're making that decision if you're staying with this person or going away. I thought that, yeah, they have to continue doing those things. They have to celebrate that 1 month anniversary, even if it's hard, even if that's not what Brett wants to do in that moment, because they have that time limit. They have that 8 week time limit, and even Zach and Michaela losing that time to the COVID quarantine at the start, that even shortens that window further, making that so hard. As I just kicked my camera here, sorry about that. Yeah, so that is it. You know, yeah. Oh, I missed one thing here for Ryan. You can at that group date. You could kind of see Ryan starting to pull back a little bit, which was kind of sad, because, you know, like I said, it kind of felt like all episode he was kind of opening up, and to see him pull back like that, not a good look for that relationship. Yeah, Brett is, like, in terms of looks, Brett is very attractive. Like, in my opinion, she's way out of Ryan's league, but I don't know what it is, this Hollywood magical sexy moment. And like, he's not, like, the way he described it earlier in the season, it's not even like he's looking for love. He's looking for, like, that lust. And that's not what the majority of happy marriages are built on. You know, maybe you have those moments, but you know, that is not the backbone of the relationship. It's more, your relationship needs to be more than just having great sex. Like, there has to be deeper connections there. And I think that Ryan possibly missed that part of the relationship handbook. And I still think there's a shred of hope that they make it at the end. But you know, hard to draw a line from where they are now to, and another thing that came up is they have not consummated the marriage yet. They're just kissing. That's as far as they've gone. So I just don't know where they go from here. yeah, so that wraps up all our couples for tonight. Anybody in chat that missed anything before, you want to jump back into anything, just leave me a comment right now and we'll talk about that. Otherwise, we will probably wrap this live up. And yeah, like I said at the start of the stream, I think I'm going to try to do a couple smaller, more focused videos to discuss some of what we talked about this week, and to kind of focus on, you know, what everybody actually wants to talk about from the episodes, and maybe not just what I want to talk about. So that's going to be it for tonight. Really appreciate everybody jumping in the stream. Gonna try to do this for the rest of the season, see how it goes. I like doing these streams. They're fun. You get to interact a little bit more than just a reply to a comment. And yeah, I hope everybody else enjoys it, because I do as well. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later. Awkwardly turn to end the stream.